Hey, what is up guys, this is 1of9 here from 1of9 TV, and today I'm playing some tier 6 Strongholds with client CMRDE. So our setup is a T150, a pair of Cromwells, a Sherman Jumbo, VK31D, a VK31P, and me and my T21. We are up against a trio of Cromwell Berlins, a Loz's M4A2, and a trio of T3485s on the Ghost Town map. So our starting strategy with this is we're going to head out towards the left, towards like F1, G1, get in the ridges there. We're going to stay close enough to our cap because we don't have the speed right now. Unfortunately, because we have two Paralegionnaires, our VK31P and our one of our Cromwells. They don't do so great in listening, which becomes quite apparent at the beginning of this game, and kind of almost could very well have screwed us over, but I ended up having to adapt to our strategy to that, and in the end it ended up working out, but in any other game we would have been down a tank. Now, of course, because we have heavy tanks, they're a little bit slower than the rest of us, and so that means we're going to have a little bit of time to get to our starting positions. Normally we end up leaving a tank back. Eventually somebody's going to go back to cover our cap. Right now it's still close enough that people can't quite get into our cap circle yet. I'm yelling at this Cromwell to stop. Unfortunately, he doesn't listen because, like, he is just a Legionnaire. Like, he doesn't care. He thinks he knows it better than the 5 of us who are from the clan. And we'll admit we are quite new at Strongholds, but we aren't that bad. Like the other night, we won 7 out of our 11 games. Like, we're doing pretty good. As you can see, that Cromwell just went off on his own. He ended up spotting the T3485M, and like none of us actually want to support him right now. And of course our VK31P is just heading up with him. That's something you don't do. If you're a Legionnaire, you listen to the players who are in the actual clan that you're playing for. And I'm yelling at this guy to halt as well. And it gets to the point where like we just have to make a move. So I'm like, okay, it looks like there's at least 3 of them there, maybe 4. We're going to move up to the next ridge line, and we're going to begin slowly pressuring them. Maybe we can get some shots in from here. Our Cromwell went back to go cover the cap. Like I said, we normally have somebody do, which is quite a nice strategy. We've won games simply because we had somebody covering the cap, and we've also lost them because we didn't have anybody there to cover the cap. Now, I'm getting really annoyed at this guy. I think one of the problems was he doesn't actually speak English. He actually spoke Portuguese, as we found out from a later game. Unfortunately, we didn't know that at this time, so we thought he was just ignoring what we were doing. Now we're waiting up here, and we're like getting everybody clustered together, and not much really happens. We're just trying to sneak shots in at the guys that he spots. Fortunately, he doesn't really spot anyone, and I'm just looking around. I'm like, okay, everybody's in the positions I want them to be in. And as like a shot caller, it's important to have people listen to you. It's kind of a struggle when you have 2 or 3 people trying to say what should be done. In these situations, you just need one person who tells you what you need to do. And at the end of the game, you guys can discuss this strategy, figure out what went wrong, what went right, and adjust it accordingly. At this point in the game, we're at a bit of a stalemate. So I'm starting to think of, okay, they're obviously just going to camp. If they do try anything, it's going to have to be a fast cap. That's why we have our Cromwell back to defend the base. And I order, okay, T150, I want you to move up to that area and B1, that ridge there. And he kind of misunderstood what I meant at first. That was my bad. I wasn't exactly entirely clear on what I meant. I just said move up to the next ridge. I think he meant the one, he thought I meant the one in D1. I meant the one in B1. And I just re-explain it to him now. So eventually he gets to heading to where I want him to be. Now the rest of us are kind of just waiting there. My goal is I'm going to get him forward. That way when we start our push, he will be further forward than the rest of us, and that way we'll be able to support. Now unfortunately our Jumbo kind of decides to do whatever the hell he wants here. And I didn't actually want him to move up to the ridge that he moves up to, but it worked out, so it's not a really big deal. I'm just waiting for that T150 to get where I want him to be. And I tell our VK right now to go join him. And so far, they haven't tried to fast cap us out, which is what I would have expected them to try and do. Because, like, in this situation, you know where the majority of our team is. why don't you use your 3 Cromwell Berlins, who are very mobile, to try and fast cap us out? And at this point I say, okay, the VK's there, the T150's there, we're gonna go in. We've got Cromwell's pretty low on health, we need to try and keep them alive. We've started whittling them down, like people have been dealing damage from a distance to the guys up on that ridge, and I say screw it, let's just go for it. It's win or lose at this point. There's only 4 of them there, I have no idea where those Cromwell Berlins are. I'm taking a guess, I'm guessing that they're in the 9-0 line, and we start pushing in. Unfortunately, I didn't quite get the timing right. The T150 is going to be a little bit behind, but I start going to town on this Loz's M4. He doesn't even know what's hit him. He gets 1 shot into me, and that's all he's going to get. I'm going to pick up the kill, and now it's time to go over to these T-3045s. And this tank has insane gun handling, so I can literally do whatever I want. I accidentally drove into the rocks. I was trying to tell people what's something to do, and I was a bit focused on other things at the time. But I'm just going to town on these people, along with the VK3001D, and we're just out DPMing these guys. Cromwell is kind of down in the middle of nowhere. I tell our jumbo to go in, and then I pick up the T-3045. Now, the T-150 is just getting here. He was kind of joking around at this point, like, you told me to push, but you're cleaning up everybody before I even get there. And we're like, okay, we're just going to go in on this T-3045. And that's exactly what we do. We've got 2 shots into him, and we just focused fire extremely well in this game. I didn't get the kill, that was our Sherman jumbo there, but it's a team game, and I say, okay, we're just going to cap this one out. Our VK3001D is kind of getting peppered by somewhere, and I tell them, okay, we're just going to use our T150 and our jumbo as a shield because they have the armor. So basically what I wanted was the T150 and the jumbo to go to where they were shooting from and use them as a shield for the 2 lighter tanks and me and the VK31D and the T21, and basically defend ourselves that way. And then eventually at some point these guys show up eventually. I tell our Cromwell to come in, but like, it doesn't matter, we've won this game at this point. And I say screw it, let's just go in. I unfortunately bounced there, but I end up picking that guy up, and I say screw it, let's just go kill these guys, because like, we've got the health. It's 7 on 2. They've only killed 0 tanks, we've killed 5 of theirs, and it's just this last Cromwell Berlin, so it's like, yeah, let's just get rid of them. And yeah, and that's how the game works. And a decent game for me, but a 7-0 victory for the team, and that's far more important. But don't worry, stick around, and there's going to be another game. So now we are on the El Haluf map in our second match. This is again tier 6 Strongholds. We have an ARL-44, a T-150, a trio of Cromwells this time, and a VK31P, and me and my T-21. So this time I say, okay, we're going to push up to the B2 area, set our heavies up in like C1, and then we're going to leave our Cromwell Jake Bond back more in like U1, that area. That way, again, they won't be able to fast cap us out. As long as we get 1 reset in, everybody else can get back. Now we just kind of start driving there as quick as we can. We get everybody. Your 250 and ARL aren't going to be the fastest. Unfortunately, this same guy in the Cromwell, he goes off on his own. He ended up, I believe, getting kicked after this game because we got fed up. I think there's 2 games in a row he didn't do what we wanted him to. We ended up winning both of them, but like, if you're going to play with the clan, you do what the clan themselves wants you to do. Our VK3001P ends up kind of stopping with our Cromwell, not what I wanted him to do. End up getting the memo that he needs to go forward, though, so it didn't really matter in the end. But this Cromwell, like, honestly, like, if you're going to play like that, play random battles. Don't bother playing with a clan or Strongholds. So here I'm like yelling this VK3001P to come follow us. And in the end it works out and he follows us, and the ARL and the T150 move up to the corner I'm at right now. I begin pushing up to the next ridge. That's where I really wanted to be, and that's when our Cromwell spots one of their Cromwells. And yeah, there's a T-3485M, but we left our Cromwell back specifically to cover against that. So it doesn't really matter what they want to do. I try and sneak some shots into them, but they really nerfed this position here that I'm trying to take, so there was no point in me really going there. And then I proxy spot a T-3485M from above. So we've spotted a VK3001P, and I'm trying to get our T-150 to push up a little bit more. I send our Cromwell back to deal with the T-3045M. That's gonna attempt to cap. And our T-150 attempts to get the Cromwell's attention, trying using Google Translate, I believe, to speak to him in Portuguese, but as you can tell, we finally figured out what language he was speaking at this point. Unfortunately, it didn't really work. And yeah, it's just going to be us against these 3 tanks here. There's 2 of them, and there's the other 3 spotted. And we look at it and we're like, yeah, we need to go, just go in. We kind of look like we're going to help the other Cromwell with that T-3485M, but like we're like, yeah, there's 3 of them here, let's just crush these guys. They spread themselves out too much. And then I tell the Cromwell at this point, okay, the cap's on you, do whatever the hell you need to do, take care of it. I whiffed that shot. I'm going to tell you right now, I played horribly this game. I think I did 3 shots worth of damage. I attempt to get the kill, I tell the Cromwell I'm going to get it, and then I shoot him in the back of the turret because I'm auto-aiming. But I end up picking it up in the end, and that's all the damage I do all game. Yep, 3 shots is all I got in for a total of 307 damage. And my goal here is to put 1 shot into the Hellcat and then ram him. Unfortunately, my shot bounces, still trying to figure out how that one bounced, and then I die. Our Cromwell actually succeeds in resetting the cap, and yep, now everybody's just pushing on towards their base. We've lost the Cromwell who didn't listen. That doesn't really matter. And I attempt to find my way back, and there we go, there's the fight. And I have to say props to this Cromwell here. He won that 1v1, and had he lost that 1v1, that could have very well changed the game. Probably could have gotten back in time to kill that guy, but it doesn't really matter. And now I tell him, okay, now just come join us. Send people, everybody else is moving towards their cap, and that's exactly what we need to be doing in the circumstances. Now, of course, I need to switch myself back to the perspective of the other tanks, and there we go. I'm in this perspective of the ARL, it's probably not the one I need to be at. I should really be at our Cromwell, that's at the front. At this point I'm like, I haven't been spotted, I would have expected them to be coming the other way. So I'm like, okay, they're probably gonna try and cap, so I say, okay, everybody just get on the cap, just guarantee the win. So our 2 heavies are gonna get on the cap, and then they're gonna sandwich the Cromwell between them. And our other Cromwell stays back, just in case, like, the rest of their tanks come rushing up, they can't somehow out-fast cap us, and the chance that they get in before we do. But at this point, it's working out well. We got everybody in the cap. Basically I say, okay, you're going to use the 2 heavies to shield the Cromwell, so that way he will rack up all the cap points. And we basically set them up, that's the direction they're going to be coming from. And then, yep, there we go, we'll just wedge the Cromwell between them, and then, yeah, they go and try and chase down our Cromwell. And of course everybody knows that's not going to work, because they can't fast cap out in time, and because all their tanks are there. I tell them to try and use the Hellcat as a shield against the other tank. And unfortunately it doesn't really matter, it doesn't work out, but we won the game, that's what really matters in the end, isn't it? And yep, now we get to go see my terrible wreck of a tank where I basically sucked out at the beginning of this game. And I could have done a lot better, but in the end we won. And that's all that really matters in these type of game modes. Okay, so here we are now in the final replay of today's video. It's on Himmelsdorf. We've got an ARL-44 T-150, pair of Cromwells, T-3485M, a VK-3001P, and me, my T-21. We were up against an OI trio of Cromwells, and a pair of Strongholds M4257, kind of a dangerous autoloader, and an AMX-12T. I have to say, I don't really agree with heavies. We're waiting for the 2 heavies on our team to get something mediums, but for this situation, the 2 heavies is actually going to work out in our favor. Now, I'm basically saying, okay, we're going to take up a heavy alley. Our other Cromwell just goes a quick little scout round up the middle, and I'm going to join him after I spot the middle part of this. Basically, we're hoping that nobody comes over the hill and attacks us from behind. I do just set up my binoculars quick, destroy that truck, just see if I can extend any vision, and don't spot anyone. So I said, okay, now that our heavies are there, I'm going to pull out. I'm going to go to the next, down to the left, 2 better positions, just try and get some vision across. Who knows, maybe they're down there. Our Cromwell ends up, it's going to go a little bit out wide, a little bit later, and yeah, there we go. A little bit of an awkward height for this tank for spotting through there, but let my binoculars go up, and it looks like spotted, so I decided, okay. I'm thinking about heading to my right, and I'm like, never mind, I'm going to go back out to the left. I reverse for a while, and you're going to actually get to see me use Artie Strike for the first time. And I'm waiting, and okay, starts moving forward, and there we go. Drop it. He's on 600 something health. And yeah, this is going to be a perfect play for us. And yeah, there we go. There's another Cromwell with him, but there we go. Deleted the OI. And we're like, okay, we're going to go deal with this Cromwell by ourselves, me and that Cromwell. Okay, so now me and this Cromwell, we're just going to go in on these guys. It's just a Cromwell B there, and I try and snapshot him. Didn't work. Probably shouldn't have fired there, just saved the shot. But at this point, it's just time to go in. We already have a 1-0 advantage, and then their medium and light tanks start coming over the hill. So I say, okay, all the medium tanks that are with our heavies, I want you guys to go down around and deal with the guys coming down off the hill. Me and our Cromwell, we will take on this Cromwell villain, and oh boy, this Strongholds. I'm 4257. I'll use the great traverse speed of this tank to avoid ramming our Cromwell from behind, and we just start shooting. Specifically, the Strongholds on 4257 want to get him out of the game as quickly as possible. Probably should have just shot the Cromwell there because I didn't have the shot. Now it's just us two versus Cromwell. We have about his health, but because we have double the firepower of him, we will end up taking him out. And then, of course, my shot bounces, and another Cromwell shows up. So basically, we are going to die. We make a bit of a misplay. I could have kept our Cromwell in the game a little bit longer. Unfortunately, this guy rams me to death. Well, attempts to ram me to death, doesn't quite do so. We end up taking him out. So, that's okay, good. That's all good. I do more than my health and damage, which is good enough, but then that other Cromwell Berlin takes me out. So now it's those two, and Strongholds 4257 to Cromwell versus our entire team. At this point, I just say, okay, everybody just rush this one Cromwell. You guys can pin him at the corner. There's 5 of you. He can't take out enough of you guys, and our T-3045 puts a shot into him. And now it's time for the Cromwell. Just go in, dude. Just go in. That's what I kept telling him. Like, at this point, your individual tank, in honesty, doesn't matter. As long as you defeat them, like, how many tanks you lose don't really matter in the end. So you just gotta make sure you get them. So yeah, it's just us versus that Cromwell, and then wherever that Strongholds M42 is. We haven't found him just yet. Just go in on him, just get him. And there we go, Cromwell goes in on him, gets another one shot in. It actually whiffs the second shot to kill him, and our BK-31P picks him up for the team. At this point, it's just us versus a lone solitary Strongholds M4257, which is still a very dangerous tank, because he can actually clip out everyone, and I just tell everyone, just go on the cap, just guarantee the win at this point, and we spot him. Alright, I think our Cromwell at this point says, hey, can I just go in on him? I say, sure, everybody else get on the cap, but you're allowed to go in on him if you want. I tell you, T-50, no, go cap, go cap. And our ARL, and everybody just heads to the cap. This way we guarantee the win. That way, if our Cromwell fails at taking him out, we still will win the game. And yeah, Cromwell's going to go in. At some point soon, I'm going to switch to his perspective. So we get to actually watch this final engagement. I'm just making sure the T-150 gets to the cap. Don't really know what our ARL is doing. And I go onto the Cromwell. I'm like, dude, just go in, just go in. Oh, yeah. There we go. Strongholds 4257 takes out the ARL. And that's exactly what I didn't want to happen. I figured maybe he could take everybody out, switch around the views quick for a second. And now it's just like, dude, just go for it. Like, there's no point being afraid. Like, we've guaranteed the win. Just go in and just kill the guy. So he goes in, gets the ram. Probably could have done a little bit more damage from the ram. Puts one shot in. And he's about to kill the guy. And the game ends. But we won. Ended up with a 6-3 victory for us with a cap out at the end. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys next weekend. Bye.